My name is Solymar. I'm a third year at UC Santa Cruz. I'm affiliated with Mecha de UCSC. I'm also affiliated with E Squared, and I'm also affiliated with the Student of Color Collective, but I'm representing myself.
And how is it that you came to be affiliated with SOCC, and how did that start?
So I would say like a few months ago, myself and a lot of other student organizers on this campus, specifically students of color, have become really frustrated with what's been going on with all of the budget cuts, and really feeling like us as students, students in general have been very apathetic to what's been going on, partly because we don't understand what's going on, because it's been very key for administration to not be transparent with the budget cuts, and we're just really fed up and frustrated, and feeling like we didn't have a place to do that in, where our organizations were doing events and we're doing projects and things. There wasn't that much room within our own organization to facilitate that process. And so a few of us were able to get together from different organizations and outreach and get people to see how to, at least the first meeting was just to see what do students of color want on this campus, how are students of color feeling about the budget cuts, and what do we want to do about it. And out of that meeting came a long list of demands that we wanted to demand from the administration. A lot of different students showed up. We had over 45 students represented from various different organizations on campus. And that continues until now, where we have decided to hold a hunger strike this week to continue and urge the chancellor, administrators, deans, student affairs administrators to really relook and assess how is this university being effective to its students. How is the education that we're paying for, is it really quality anymore? Are we still getting the resources that we need? And students we don't feel like we are, and that's why we're upset about it, and that's why we are taking this first step at getting those demands. And so that's kind of where it started.
What's going on campus right now, and how does it affect you?
So budget cuts have been happening for like the last year or so, and probably will continue to happen for the next few years. But we know as communities of color that when budget cuts happen, it hits us first. And so immediately with fee hikes, that already means that there's less access and less affordability for students of color to come to the university. So already with the almost 10% fee hike that the UC Regents proposed and passed, that less of our people will be able to come to the university, and that's huge. That's huge for us. That's our families, the people in our high schools that won't be able to come. Already they didn't have the access, and now it's less for them. So I think that's very personal. But most of our demands, like having American Indian Resource Center director, having a Women's Center director, having running community studies program, having professors and faculty that are supportive of students of color and social justice movements not be laid off. You know, we have a lot of layoffs. We have really low retention and outreach to staff and faculty of color. Our ethnic year-end ceremonies are not being funded, and that's one of the only times where, as communities, we can get together to celebrate in our own kind of cultural, celebrational traditions. We still don't have an ethnic studies program. AB 540 and undocumented students are still not receiving the resources that they need to succeed at the highest rates that they can. It sucks. There's no resources. The resources are limited, and then they get cut, and that's why it affects me, I guess. Yeah.
Do you see this relating to other students?
Yes, this relates to every student. It relates to every single student on this campus, because we know that without diversity, we have linear ways of thinking, and we have like no progress in our society. We know that when people from different communities come together, we're able to make greater movements as a community, and really bring a more like justice and equitable decisions and like ways of life, like equitable ways of living, that happens when we do this together. And so supporting communities of color is supporting a better, movement towards a better community on this campus. and we do need to focus on students of color specifically. We know that these things do not only specifically affect students of color, but students of color still have a lack of voice on this campus. There's been really like, what's it called, like menial?
Minuscule.
Like they don't mean anything,
Oh.
like
Medium.
mediocre like proposals by the university to give voice and to give resource and access to students of color that really in turn do the opposite. It disenfranchises students of color because it doesn't give them the voice and the decision-making power to provide the resources that we need. And so we need administration to try harder. We don't need them to just try anymore. We need them to do what they say that they're going to do and give us the education that we need. And I think that's what all students want, is a better education for themselves.
So what do you think will happen? What do you hope happens to the SOCC after the strike?
Well, I know that the hunger strike is just the beginning. The hunger strike, which we are paralleling with the hunger strike that Tuanis, Third World Native American Student Front, did 30 years ago for the ethnic studies hunger strike. We're marrying it off of that, and we know that that was that was able to begin a lot of movements on campus. And we know that this hunger strike, we will accomplish various of our demands by this hunger strike. I believe in the methods that we've been going, that we will accomplish those things, but we know that that there's still a lot of things that will take, the budget cuts will still happen, and so our collective still needs to stay strong and do other forms of protest and work to make sure that all of our demands are met, and that means that we need to stay together in coalition with other groups beyond this year to next year through the summer and hopefully the year after that. And so I see it being a very sustainable movement that we are building here with the coalitions that we've made.
Why the hunger strike as a tactic?
Well, I mentioned before that 30 years ago, Tuanis did a hunger strike, and so it's very symbolic for us as a student of color collective to not replicate but honor what was done before. And do that again in the name of, we talk a lot about the people that aren't here, the people that were here before us, that fought for us to get here. We talk about the people that aren't here, that won't be able to get here because of access and affordability. So it's really it's about respecting those people by really working hard to make sure we get what is needed for this campus. And the hunger strike is very symbolic for that reason. And it's also something, I know for me, like this process has been also very spiritual and really trying to connect with each other, connect with different types of people, different cultures, but all really being in the same room and knowing why we're there and knowing our passion. And I think that passion has extended into the reasoning for this hunger strike. And so it sucks why we have to get together because of these budget cuts, but it's been a really beautiful thing to learn, meet new people and work with new people on this project.
And how do you think people can help that aren't necessarily members of the SOCC?
So there are definitely many ways that people can help. We have a street team, which will be coming to a neighborhood or college near you starting on Tuesday. And those people, bright and early at 6 a.m., will begin flyering the campus, making sure people know about what's going on, making sure people understand that there are budget cuts happening and a lot of essential resources are being cut. So making sure people are aware, that's really what we want, is making sure people are aware. And hopefully when they are aware of it, they'll get mad and want to do something about it. And then there's many other ways to help in terms of organizing. So next week we're going to need a lot of people there in numbers to show the chancellor, show administrators, show the media that we are serious about this, that we are serious about meeting our demands, that we are serious about having a voice on this campus, and that our voice will not be silenced any longer like it has been. And so passing out flyers, getting your teachers to hold classes down at the base. If you're part of an organization, having your organization hold their meeting at the base, standing in solidarity by wearing one of the armbands that we have, which is purple. So our color is purple, so wearing the armbands, people asking you what it is about, letting them know about the demands that are going on. Also, there are several other coalitions that are also existing right now, so that we are in solidarity with, so making sure that you're educated about what's going on and that you're doing something about it. The more people we have doing something about it, the less people get burnt out, and the more force and movement we have towards the chancellor, towards administration, and ultimately towards, like, towards the UC Regents, towards the state, like little by little this movement building up really means a lot, and that force that is built among other universities, within our own universities, that really does have a lot of force in the end. So I just really urge every student, no matter your affiliation or what, to really be engaged with what's going on campus, educate yourselves, and really come to see what you can do to be in solidarity with. So joining us at the base on Tuesday at noon for our rally, and helping us out with the hunger strike.